Y'all, y'all, y'all ready for this? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome to Subscribers League, where we are going to recap week 7 and 8 in about our fantasy leagues. I'm here to give you fantasy football content. I want you to be able to compete so you can contend, and then you can actually win a championship. And I want to start off, before we get into all that kind of stuff, with some fantasy football advice. First of all, I want to just kind of do a Captain Obvious moment. Maybe there's some people here that are new to the channel, new to playing fantasy football, and these are the moments where it can make you or break you in the weeks. Bye weeks. You have to be conscious of your bye weeks. Don't be getting zeros. Check your team. Make sure it only takes a couple seconds to do that. And then right now is those moments where you're adding guys that can really be difference makers. For example, this week, Byron Scott, not Gainwell, Byron Scott and Jordan Howard both had 12 carries. Gainwell was awful. He was non-existent. Scott, they had 12 carries. These are almost similar, basically identical weeks. 60 yards for Scott, 57 for Jordan Howard. Both had 2 touchdowns. That's why Jalen Hurts had an awful day fantasy-wise, because they were just handing the ball off. I didn't even know Jordan Howard was in the league anymore. I don't know why they weren't using Gainwell, but these are some guys that you probably want to pick up. If you had started Randall Cobb this week, if you were in a bye week and had a difficulty and picked up Randall Cobb, he didn't have a monster week. He only had 3 receptions for 15 yards, but he got 2 touchdowns and ended up having 13 points. Also, it was the week of the backup quarterbacks. You have Trevor Siemian winning. You have Rush for Dallas, and some of you got just messed over with Dak Prescott not playing on Monday night. But Rush comes in, and I think he threw 400 yards. That was insane. I just want to make sure I'm correct on that. I think I am. 405, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a monster fantasy week, 28 points. Gino Smith, are you kidding me right now? I would have never started Gino Smith against Jacksonville, but he comes in and gets 20 fantasy points, and 22 actually, and then Davis Mills for Houston had a good week of 21. These are some of the things that are happening. There's another guy that's out there. I don't think, I just need to look at this real quick. I do apologize for the stuttering here. Justin Fields had a monster week, 26. That is insane. So there are guys that we're picking up that people are getting. Carson Wentz, people that need to be on your starting rosters, because there's people like Patrick Mahomes who's struggling. Jimmy Garoppolo had a great week. Some of these pickups will help you win weeks, and so you just have to be conscious of that. I know some of these are a shot in the dark and they're too hard to predict, so I get it. Some of them are just absolutely flukes, and sometimes it's just because you had a bye week or injuries. You had to start this guy, and then he played well for you. So let's dive into the recaps. The reason why we're doing 7 and 8 is because I was at the Canucks home opener against the Minnesota Wild, packed out stadium, incredible atmosphere. If you haven't seen the video, go check out the video. Just go back into my YouTube channel and click on that link, and there's actual game footage with my friend Steve, and it was fantastic. So, week 7, just really quickly recapping, I got the blowout of the week against the Battery. I just learned something about these last 2 weeks. The Battery, your battery's dead, bro. You need a jump start. You need something. I'm blaming some bye weeks. I'm blaming bye weeks and bad management in week 7, because I won 141-54. I mean, are you kidding me right now? That's insane. Brian's fantasy football team lost to Derek, his buddy, Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. By the way, I love your name. 132-92, and then VI Raiders goes down. Stuart Dixon goes down to Peter's playoff bound 132-113. I mean, Stuart, you had a good week, 113 fantasy points, but Peter, come on, man. You and Derek had the two biggest fantasy weeks, 132 each. That is nuts and insane. That was a huge battle. And then Mark's BWG Hammer, you got 107. You struggled there against BPAC. BPAC, let's go. 115, like that's a good battle there. Let me just quickly look at that battle. So Chase for BPAC had 26 fantasy points, and so that's where we're at there. Where Mark's team failed was he had 1 point from Mike Davis. Sorry, not Mark Davis. I was just saying Mark. And but he had good job picking up Tua, and he had 28 points. BPAC, I can't believe you're winning with these quarterbacks. So you're starting Daniel Jones and Case Keenum for the Cleveland Browns, and you're winning. Well, Green Bay's getting 14 fantasy points against Washington. Booker had a pretty good week. Devontae Adams, obviously a stud. So that's craziness. So if we go back to that last one, Vexa, oh my goodness, Vexa won. I didn't even know this. This is the first time I've seen this. This is incredible. Way to go, Ian. 89-86. Underdogs takes the L. And my goodness, this is insane. This is awesome. So yeah, blowout of the week was me. I won by something crazy like 86.88 points. I don't think I've ever seen a blowout. Oh, I think I've seen 100 points before. But, okay, let's go to week 8. And BPAC ends up beating Underdogs 108-85. Playoff bound gets roasted. And listen, Mark, your team came to play, man. You started Rush, and the last seconds had 18 fantasy points instead of Dak going. But Derrick Henry goes down for you, and you still get the win. You had 124 points without your studs. So this team is dangerous, people. You need to understand that BWG is here to play and to compete. Peter's team just failed him miserably there. I know 109 points is still good, but man, you've got to get that win right there. So Tannehill, Rush versus Kyler Murray and Aaron Rodgers. You think that's a no-brainer win for playoff bound? This is fantasy, people. You cannot predict this stuff. You cannot make this stuff up. So let's quickly go to Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, 125 points versus Stewart's VI Raiders, and who only got 88 points. Now, granted, Stewart had to start Bridgewater as Lamar Jackson was on bye week, but, DeAndre Swift was horrific for him. Jefferson has not had a great season, in my opinion, for Minnesota. Only 2.1 fantasy points, like you're talking 21 yards passing. Thielen is the guy in Minnesota. I've been saying this since the beginning of the year. He also had Mahomes, who, again, had another bad week. People should be really concerned about this Mahomes thing. You might be able to either buy low or sell low on Mahomes with the name Mahomes. Either one, I don't know what you want to do there. I'm not sure why you would start Sutton over Robert Woods, but, I mean, that's your team, and it is what it is. So that is a crazy, and Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, you are heating up, man. And then we go to Brian's fantasy football team, 126 fantasy points. In fact, had the most fantasy points of the week, and again meets up with the battery, whose batteries we've said are dead. 66 points. Like, what is going on, Chad, with your team here? Goff is horrific. 8.88 fantasy points against Philadelphia. That's not going to do it. Kirk Cousins, the guy that you're really hoping that's going to turn it around for that late round pick. You thought that was gold, but he only had 13 fantasy points. So we're talking like, Williams from Chicago. After last week, you didn't have any confidence in him starting. I'm surprised you didn't start Herbert over him. So there's some, Chad, you've got some bad management going on. You got to fix your team, bro. You've got the right players other than the quarterback. I mean, Herbert, you didn't even play Herbert, bro. You didn't play Herbert. Like, did you? Oh my goodness. Wow, dude, you gotta get back into this. Maybe don't give up. It's not too late here. So, wow. I did not anticipate that. And then I end up getting the blowout of the week. I played Vexa, who had just won the week before, which was awesome, but I won by 64.64 fantasy points, 124.59. Vexa doesn't even gets the worst score of the week with that low score. Mac Jones was terrible, and Matt Ryan was horrific, and yeah, even Scorin McLaurin hasn't scored in a long time. So, David Johnson, Elliott only 7 points. This is bad. But I mean, I had Brady, I had Stafford going, I had Mitchell, Kamara, Robinson, Thielen, AJ Brown had a monster week. So, okay, let's just quickly go to the league and just check out where the standings are. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, #1 team in the league, 4 wins in a row. Well done, Derek. Stewart's VI Raiders, who was considered the elite team going in a few weeks ago, is on a 2-game losing streak. BPAC, man, all these teams at 6-2. BPAC, how are you 6-2 with those quarterbacks? I just keep saying that every week. It just blows me away. And then I'm at 5-3. I've got the most points scored points scored in the league, just barely beating Derek. The Battery, who's on a 2-game losing streak, as we see 2 really bad losses. And then Playoff Bound and BWG are at 4-4, and then it's pretty ugly down bottom. They're fighting for that last 8th playoff spot. Fantasy football team, Underdogs, and Vexa 2-6 and 1-7. So there's lots going on in the league. Hope you're enjoying it. And this is our recaps. And of course, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate all the views. I appreciate all the feedback. And looking forward to week 9, which is the big matchups are going to be actually there isn't any large one. I think BWG versus Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, even though it's 7 versus 1, that's a massive matchup, and the other ones are just kind of interesting. There looks like a pretty Playoff Bound versus BPAC. That's a massive matchup. 110 for BPAC they're predicting, and Playoff Browns will get 121. So we'll see how it goes, and hope you enjoy your NFL games and your fantasy, and I hope you have a great week.